Hey guys, welcome to our channel, House of Lave. I'm Ladero Hart.
I'm Danielle Hart.
And we're grateful that you decided to take some time and watch this video. So, we're excited. We are going to talk about something that we get asked a lot. And that topic is, how do we stay on the same page during our conversion process?
Yeah, especially when it comes to like the growth journey, right? Because we've heard, multiple times of people maybe asking about their spouse and significant other might not be on the same page as they are growth wise, right? And so this is us sharing from our point of view, our story, our journey, and how we've really grown together through this process. And so for Ladero and I, we do have differences for sure. Ladero might be stronger in one area, I might be stronger in another area, but one thing that we have definitely made sure that we don't do is compare, saying things like, okay, wow, like I wish I was a little bit, further along as he was at this, or maybe I'm not good enough, because those thoughts can hinder you, especially through a conversion process. And it can put negative thoughts. Am I good enough? Am I ready? I learn totally different than how Ladero learns, right? I'm a little bit slower when it comes to especially like the Hebrew language and actually learning how to read it. He's more advanced than that. So is our kids, right? But I'm not going to get to a point where I self-doubt and I say negative things about myself of, am I good enough? Can I really do this? It's I put in my efforts and do what I can do. And if he's further along, that's great. But at the same time, he is responsible for my growth as well too. So him going ahead and learning, I think is a great thing. I wouldn't want him to be exactly where I'm at. That's one thing that's, really helped us. And I know you probably have some thoughts and some things that, you want to share on that as well too.
From the male point of view, I think, is making sure that it's not just one-sided. It's not just me wanting to do something so bad, right? For example, when we first came up with this decision that we're going to start our journey to convert to Judaism, it was me bringing her the idea. And then we talked about it.
Right.
But it could have went a different route, right? Like say, for example, I was so excited. This is what we should do. And then my excitement kind of overruled her feelings, right? I'm not saying this happened, but I'm just kind of giving you a scenario because we were mindful of this in our decision making.
Right.
And like I said, it could have went where, listen, she could have felt like, wow, he's so excited. I don't want to blow out his fire.
Right.
So let me just go along with it. But instead, I made sure that she had a voice in our decision making. It was our decision making together, not just one-sided, not just hers, not just mine. This was something that we both decided that we're going to do together. So it was important for me to validate her feelings, to validate her concerns, and to really be considerate. Like, okay, she might not feel this. She may not want to go on this journey. So if that is the case, let me make sure that she feels comfortable and she has there's a safe space for her to feel heard.
Yeah, it's so important that we did have that shalom bayit in our home, that peace, right? Because just imagine if he was like, I'm ready to go. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. There would have been some of that distance probably within our relationship, because I would have felt that pressure, to be feeling like I'm obligated to do something. And that's very uncomfortable for a marriage and a relationship, but that's not what we did. We did make sure that we had a conversation, that we both wanted this. I mean, I remember this like yesterday of him saying, this is where I'm at. How do you feel about it? And asking me that question. How do you feel about, going through a conversion process? And already in my mind, I looked at him for a second and was like, yeah, I want it all the way too, right? I want to go all the way with this. I think we've really learned how to communicate with anything of how we're feeling and how we're talking about certain things. And when it comes to growth, like if I, let him know that, hey, I'm not ready to maybe learn all this, or to go this deep in this learning, or maybe I'm not at a place where I can consistently, learn all of this. He's patient with that. There's no pressure. And I really appreciate that. And I think that's been very important for us and for our journey, just to continue to have that shalom bayit in our home.
So before we move any further, we want to take a second to talk about the sponsors of this video. So as you can see, we're warm now. We're in our garage, but it's a little chilly outside. It's been raining, but we are warm and we're cozy in our Tribe of Judah hoodies. Tribe of Judah is a phenomenal clothing line. We love what they stand for, love what they represent. I mean, the clothing is just super high quality.
Yes.
And just next level. I mean, mine says Heat Bodadu, right? Heat Bodadu is basically secluded prayer. And it's probably my favorite hoodie right now, because that's like my lane. That's where I am right now, learning how to pray and spend that time with Hashem. So it's incredible. Then I have this at the bottom. It says, in the wilderness, my soul strums to the rhythm of creation. That's beautiful. She has a super fly one on right here.
Yeah, that says Ein Od Milvado, which means there's nothing but the Creator, which is so beautiful.
That's awesome.
But like you said, we're excited to have these beautiful hoodies, and they're keeping us definitely warm right now while we're filming.
So their mission is to infuse inspiration into apparel by blending Jewish philosophy and art. And they have a wide range of different hoodies and styles, and everything just has a message. It's awesome. So if you want to get one, click the link in the description and you can get 10% off. Just use our code HouseOfLave10. Peace in our home is everything. That's something that we spend a lot of time talking about, is how do we make sure that there's peace in the home. And that really came down to me and how I was handling certain things, right? Because the man is the spiritual responsibility of the house.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
And so that's something that I'm very mindful of, and I'm very intentional about it, especially now where I am in my life, is making sure that Ima is happy in our house. You know, this when we're having dinner together with our kids, right? I'm trying my best to talk about it with our kids, making sure that our kids are honoring their mother and all those different things. But I think another thing that comes to mind is just patience, understanding. I feel like there was a lot of understanding between the two of us. I've never wanted you to feel that I was rushing your spiritual growth.
Right. And yes.
You can't rush spiritual growth. And so I wanted to always make sure that I was patient in that particular area. And again, this is how we've been able to stay on the same page, is being considerate, being understanding, not being one-sided, making sure that we are thinking about each other's feelings. And I think for both of us, we've been able to, and I think you've done a good job in this, is making sure that we're seeing ourselves in the other person's shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
well, I think you've done a phenomenal job of that. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's been very important for us on how we've been able to stay on the same page, because before I say something, I'm thinking about how is this going to make her feel.
Yeah.
And vice versa. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy that he said that as well, because, you know, when he's taking the time to like go sit down and learn, and I might be doing something else, and actually I might be just available to learn, and I'm just sitting there, right? I might be doing other things. My kids are already down to sleep. Him being the spiritual leader, though, he always is leading, and that's one thing I do appreciate about my husband, because he leads in a way that is very, like he mentioned, it's not, I don't feel like he's forcing me to, you know, come learn and do this. But I think he takes action by just doing it and being a great example. And then it allows me to go, oh, I probably should be learning this right now as well, too. I think it's really awesome to see this. And one thing that we've seen in our comments is people asking us questions like that of, you know, how do you help your, you know, spouse be on the same page? Or how do you guys, you know, stay on the same page through this? And I might have challenges, you know, with my significant other. And we always just tell them, like, you know, you lead by example. And I think that's the best thing that you can do, is just be that example. He does it all the time, where he'll just go and start studying, and then I'll come over, right? Or I'll say, what are you doing? What are you learning? He's never saying it's time for us to go learn. He just goes and does it. I see it, and then I come along, right? And I do it as well too. So
like, if I can say this before we wrap it up, I think another thing that's helped us stay on the same page is that I think we've always included each other in our vision together. And when it came to talking about our future, both of us were involved, both of us were included, right? She always said that she wanted to do something together, right, with me. And
look at us now.
yeah, and here we are, right? We're doing this together as a couple.
Yeah.
But I think when it came to us talking about our future, it was always our future.
Yeah.
It was never. Well, I'll take that back. At the very early stages of our marriage, it was about individual things,
Futures, yeah.
individual futures, right? I want to do this, but what do you want to do? You know. But it was always, and she struggled with it. She struggled with being able to answer it, like, oh, I want to do this, right? It was always, you know, I want to be a good wife. You know, I want to do something together. It was all family oriented.
Always.
And so my point for even bringing all that up was that I think one great way that we've been able to stay on the same page is that we talk about things together and we include each other in our dreams and we plan future together. And that keeps us on the same page, right? What do we want to do here? Why do we want to do this? What's the next move for our life together, right? If I'm making some goals, I'm setting some goals, right? We're talking about these different things together, and I think that's played a big part.
Absolutely. Yeah. So being 16 years married now, I feel like we are more unified than ever, and the beauty of it is that we still have more growth, right? And I'm excited about that, especially this journey on converting to Judaism, and so much more to explore and learn in Judaism, which we're excited about. There's so much beauty in Judaism that we just love. Every day, we're always learning something new in our home, and we're experiencing things. And I think through our experiences is where the growth is really happening. And so we're just so grateful to people that are tuning in, and you know, the comments that are sent to us. We can't express it enough. We're going to say it on every video. Just thank you so much.
Thank you
for your love, for your support. For the messages. I know we don't get to all of them, but I want you guys to know we are reading them. There's a lot of messages that do come in, and we do have a family, right? And we're learning how to delegate everything right now still, but we want you guys to know how much we truly, truly appreciate you, and we don't take it for granted at all. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for watching. And if you like our videos, please make sure that you do like and subscribe, and don't forget to comment. Thank you so much for tuning in.
We'll see you guys on the next one.